Let's talk about multitasking. As you surely know, kids do a lot of it. In fact, a recent survey indicated that kids spend 7.5 hours each day using electronic devices, and most of that time they're multitasking. Question: does all that multitasking mean that kids today are better at multitasking? Or maybe even that doing just one thing at a time is kind of boring? Well, it is true that older people are not as good at multitasking as younger people are. But that doesn't mean that today's kids are especially good at it, and it sure doesn't mean that they need to multitask. For starters, how do we multitask? Suppose I'm trying to write a history paper and simultaneously carry on an instant messaging conversation with a friend. Attention isn't really shared. I'm switching attention between two tasks. Of course, the way that I write when I'm IMing a friend is different than the way I write a history paper. In other words, when you do two tasks, the rules for doing them are probably different. So when you do two things at once, there's always a cost, because every time you switch attention, you forget where you were in the other task and what the goals were. Switching between tasks is easier if you can keep a lot of stuff in mind simultaneously, or if you're good at redirecting your attention quickly. Now, young people are better at those two things than older people are. No one's sure why. So young people are better multitaskers than older people. But young people didn't get better just by doing a lot of multitasking. Take a kid who says he multitasks a lot, and another kid who says she doesn't. Now bring them into the laboratory and test their ability to multitask. They're both equally good at it. Most important, when your brain is doing something and you add a second task, it always costs you something on the first task. Even just having the TV on as background noise? Yeah, studies show that homework is of lower quality when kids do it with the TV on. Now, music may be an exception, but the data there are mixed. Some studies show that listening to music is just fine. Some studies show that music without lyrics is just fine. And some studies show that music is always bad. The general conclusion is clear. Kids are better at multitasking than adults, but that's probably always been true. There's no reason to think that there's anything unusual or special about this generation. And there's always a cost to doing things simultaneously. If you want to do something well, it's best to focus on one task at a time.